Okay. Today, let's have a summary on how we can get the length of a straight line. Because the last time we talked of the coordinates on a straight line, we talked of the gradient. So today, when we talk of the straight line or the length on that straight line, let us first consider a line AB. If you consider a line like AB on a Cartesian plane, having the coordinates A, x1, y1, and b, y2, x2, and we come to our Cartesian here. When you see our Cartesian, we have the y-axis, we have also the x-axis. So if we have a line like this, and we just locate 2 points, this A and also this B. When you locate those points, you also note where they meet the x-axis and also the y here and here. So where they meet the x-axis, on the first value from the origin, that is, let's say it is x1, and the last value, let's say it is x2, and also the first value from the origin on the y-axis, if it is y1, and the final value it is y2, we shall say that the difference of these values, or from here up to here, on the vertical it will be y2 minus y1, and also from here up to here the difference will be x2 minus x1. And when you are getting the length of this line, which means it is AB, it will be AB squared equals to BC squared plus AC squared. You add up these ones, when they are squared, you get also this one when it is also squared. Then you remove the square root in order to get AB alone when it doesn't have the square root or the squared. So let's see it here down. That brings us to our Pythagoras theorem, which says that AB squared, which was our line, to be AC squared plus CB squared. So this AB squared, when you are removing this square, we put the square root on both sides. It will be here, and also here it is put. So length AB after removing the square root will be equal to this. So when you come down, but on our Cartesian above, we had AC, which was on the horizontal. It was x2 minus x1, and the CB was y2 minus y1. So we just put them here on the length and we replace them. We shall get this value, because AC was x1 minus, it was x2 minus x1, and CB was y2 minus y1. So after putting it, the length will be that. So when you see an example here which has figures, they have told that you find the length of a straight line joining each of the following pairs of points. A has 1, 3 and 4, 7, which means that this is x1, y1, x2, y2. It also applies to these ones, x1 and y1, and also x2 and y2 respectively. So when you look at the solution, for the first question it had B and D, 1, 3 and 4, 7. So BD, the length BD which they want, will be equal to this formula which you got earlier on, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, where x1 is 1, y1 is 3, x2 is 4, y2 is 7. We replace them in our equation. Where there's x1, we put x1, x2, and also the y's. So you get this value. Then after you simplify it a bit, and you get 4 minus 1 will be 3, and also the square d. 7 minus 3, you get a 4. Now 3 squared, it will be 3 times 3, which is a 9. And also 4 squared, it will be 4 times 4, which is 16. And our answer will get square root of 25, which is 5. So the length BD will be 5 units. That will be our answer for the first question. So on the second question, we have T. They gave us -7, -1, and the 2, -1, -4. We also put it in the same equation here. We also replace the x2 and the y2, because x2 is -1. x1, y1, we have x2 minus x1. x2 is -1, x1 is -7. y2, we have -4, which is here, and y1 we have -1. So -1 minus -7, it will be the same as -1 plus 7, which is the same as 7 minus 1, which is 6. And also -4 minus -1, it will be -4 plus 1, which is -4, which is the same as -4 minus plus 1, which is -3. So when you get those values, you get 6 squared plus -3 squared. You put also this bracket mainly on this negative value, because it will give you the correct answer. Even if you are putting it in the calculator, you put the bracket -3 bracket squared. Now here you get 6 squared, it will be 6 times 6, which is 36. And -3 squared, when you put in the bracket, it is the same as 3 squared, which will be equal to 9. And the answer you get is 45 when we add. Now 45 can be split into 2, because it is 9 times 5. It is 9 times 5, which means that the square root of 9 is 3, and the 5 has no, its square root is there, but let's leave it in this form, because the square root is in points. So we shall get the square root of 9, which is 3, and the 5 will remain as it is. So the length T2 will be equal to 3 root 5. And when we look at this example, so we are given D 0, 0 and the P for -7. We also put in the same equation, which is this. We come here and we replace the x2, x1, y2, y1. We get 4 minus 0, which is 4. We get -7 minus 0, which is -7. 4 squared will be equal to 4 times 4, which is a 16. And also -7 squared will be equal to 49. The square root of 40 when you add these ones, you get 65, and the square root will be 8.06. So that's our length of the last question. It will be 8.06. Okay, thanks for watching, and I wish you well.